Next is a request from Miracle Comics. She gave me a few options, and I decided to pick a movie adaptation that doesn't suck. It's the 1990 film, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't think the Ninja Turtles need a long introduction. They've been around for decades and are still releasing new iterations that are actually really good. But for those not in the know, TMNT started off as a comic by Kevin Eastman and Peter Lair. It was meant as a parody for the darker and edgier comics of the 1980s, and it was quite a hit for Mirage Comics. The book's popularity would later spawn a brand new cartoon series in 1987. It's a more lighthearted adaptation for a younger audience, and that led to a never-ending cycle of merchandise. That in turn led to this 1990 film, which was the first of 3 live-action movies by New Line Cinema. It was written by Todd Langen and Bobby Herbeck, who based their story on the comics and the cartoon. And it was directed by Steve Barron, who also did the same for the 1996 Adventures of Pinocchio. Now, the Pinocchio movie might not have been his best work, but let's see how he manages with a set of mutated turtles. This is the 1990s TMNT. We open in New York City, which is in the middle of a silent crime wave. There are no eyewitnesses to really catch who is responsible, but from what we see, this is because of some teenagers.
Instead of getting better, things have actually gotten worse.
I'm going to refrain from speaking about this city in real life. I don't live there, and would defer to actual New Yorkers on this. These teens work fast though, as they clean out this one delivery truck while someone's making a delivery. They even steal from old ladies? Oh, now they crossed a line. But at least we now know what some of them look like. Well, given what we learn later, I suppose this will make sense. This exposition from a major supporting character from the series, April O'Neil, played by Judith Hoag. She was a lab assistant in the comics, but here she resembles her cartoon version by being a reporter. In any case, she runs into a few crooks who are stealing from her van. They then try to attack her, but the lights go out somehow, leading to... Damn! Whoever they were quick and efficient, though not enough to leave the scene without leaving evidence. Get him in the car. Damn. The word of the day is damn! You know, like a hydroelectric dam, except with one extra letter. As we peer into the sewers while funky music plays, we get teased on what our title characters look like. Then we finally see who they are.
Awesome! Righteous! Bossa Nova! What? Yeah? Bossa Nova?
Yeah, not too bad for the time it was made. The costumes were produced by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, and are made from fiberglass and foam rubber latex. Henson himself said that they were the most advanced works he's done, and these certainly resemble the cartoon versions of our heroes. And speaking of heroes, now would be a good time to introduce them. First up is Leonardo, voiced by Brian Tochi. He is the most level-headed and most understanding, which is why he's leading the other turtles. Then we have Donatello, voiced by Corey Feldman, who is the tech genius and smart guy of the group. Next is Raphael, voiced by Josh Pais, who loves saying our word of the day.
Damn!
Not surprisingly, he's a hothead who can get into arguments with the other turtles. But it's that brashness that makes him the strongest. And finally, we have Michelangelo, voiced by Robbie Rist. He's a laid-back wisecracker who acts like the quintessential cool teenager of the 80s and 90s. They are all led under their master/father figure, Splinter, voiced by Kevin Clash, who was also the puppeteer for Elmo on Sesame Street. He is the old and wise master with a bottomless well of patience, and he's going to need that because his students aren't the easiest to mentor.
But you must never stop practicing the art of ninja. The art of invisibility.
Put anchovies on this thing and you're in big trouble, okay?
Michelangelo.
And they're teenagers with their own interests, such as pizza. Domino's specifically, because we couldn't do Pizza Hut again. That was for the arcade NES port.
It dices, it slices, and yet makes French fries in 3 different... Whoops!
Kids.
All in all, it's a nice blend of personality traits from the comics and the cartoon. It's just soft enough for kids, but there's still that edge that forces them to grow up alongside the characters. Speaking of, Raphael goes to a movie, using a disguise that only ever works in fiction,
Where did they come up with this stuff?
where he sees some purse snatchers and stops them, even shows them one of his sai, which is enough to scare them off. But then another character shows up.
Well, that was a crime, you purse-scrubbing pukes.
Hey, you're not Jason Voorhees. No, this is Casey Jones, played by Elias Koteas. He's like if Raphael didn't have the calming influence and tutelage of Splinter, so naturally the two are rivals. They start fighting when our hero thinks that Casey has gone too far.
That's it. Stood for one sale, pal. Hey, what are you, some sort of punker?
Huh?
Casey is a bit confused over what Raphael is, but after giving him the cricket hit, he runs off and calls him a freak.
Freak! Freak! Come back here! I'm not finished with you! Damn!
As much as I love that particular damn, it's not a word you want to repeat to kids constantly, so later movies just cut it out altogether. Splinter senses what's been going on with him lately, so he takes the time to teach him about peace and tranquility that he learned from his own master, Yoshi.
Anger clouds the mind. Turned inward, it is an unconquerable enemy. You are unique among your brothers, for you choose to face this enemy alone. But as you face it, do not forget them, and do not forget me. I am here, my son.
If the later films were any different from what we ended up having, this looks like a first step into a new continuity that's ripe for story and character growth. The lighting and atmosphere go beyond the suit limitations, and the characters really shine in the moment. Moving on, we see April chatting with her boss, Charles, played by Jay Peterson, and we also see his son Danny, who was among the teens behind the crime spree, and neither his dad nor April are aware of this. She then goes to interview the chief of police, Stearns, played by Raymond Serra.
Will minimize response time while maximizing coordination between patrol units in a decentralized networking scheme.
I'm not sure I understood all that, Chief Stearns. Would you mind repeating it? In English, perhaps?
Well, if there's one thing consistent to real life, it's that the police are utterly useless.
I'm in love.
And you are horny for a teenager. Watching this broadcast is a shadowy figure who wants April silenced when she mentions a Foot Clan who is behind the crime wave. Otherwise, Stern shows how unlikable he is.
You expect me to waste precious manpower because a few immigrants are reminded of something that supposedly happened years ago in Japan?
Well, someone sounds a bit racist. It's a good thing that Raphael decided to go look for April, since she runs into the bug people. I mean, the Foot Clan.
I deliver a message. Shut it.
Rude! Raphael jumps in to help her after she's knocked down. He then takes her into the sewers, and the other turtles were shocked to see him do this. But they let April rest, and when she wakes up, her reaction is not at all surprising.
Hi.
But once she calms down, Splinter tells her his origin story. He used to be a pet rat who copied the fighting style of his owner, Master Yoshi. Then, when he was living in the sewers, he saw the turtles crawling around some radioactive ooze. The exposure of said ooze caused all the animals to grow in size and learn how to talk. But also,
Nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. one of them spoke.
Pizza.
A common first word for any child. No, it isn't. Our heroes take April back to her home, but they stick around when they learn that she has frozen pizza. They just lounge around like teens, and April couldn't help but be fascinated. But once the turtles return home, they see that their lair got totally trashed, and Master Splinter is missing. I mean, someone tailed Raphael as he was helping April escape, so he feels right to feel like this is on him. They then crash back in April's home, but uh-oh, her boss is also coming over to visit. Better hide? Okay then. Anyway, Charles wants April to drop the story she's been doing, because he doesn't want the story of Danny's potential arrest coming out. And as to why he turned to crime, it could be from his rocky relationship with Charles.
Don't you know that either?
Sorry.
Sorry? Not as sorry as you're gonna be after school. Danny! Damn it! Danny, come back here!
In the next scene, we see the main lair of the Foot Clan. It has things that most adults associate to gangs and the like, but then there are arcade cabinets, skateboard ramps, and plenty of neon lights. Don't forget the smokes.
Regular or mental?
They also train teens to become Foot Clan members as well, and one of those teachers is Tatsu, played by Toshishiro Obata. He's a harsh instructor, but is nothing compared to this guy, who's casting this long, ominous shadow. Draped in metal blades and his signature helmet, it's Shredder, played by James Saito.
Only effort, discipline, loyalty earn the right to wear the dragon doji. You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father.
Now, if you were only following the '87 cartoon, it's a shock to see an inept villain be more of a badass. He is clearly a closer resemblance to his original comic book version. His new objective since capturing Splinter is to find the remaining freaks who have been causing him trouble. And of course, Danny is more than willing to rat them out. April goes on TV to explain the motivations of the Foot Clan. And without giving away what the turtles are, she even thanks Raphael for saving her before.
Oh, Studley!
Hey, look. No, I think he's blushing.
I am not.
The turtles then debate over what to do next. Leonardo wants April to continue gaining intel, while Raphael naturally wants to attack now. This leads to an argument and ends with the latter storming off. Raphael is then spotted by Casey, and then is attacked by the Foot Clan.
Ninja kick the damn rabbit! Do something!
This leads to a fun back and forth between April giving a tour of the building she's in, while Raphael is fighting for his life.
He does it all the time. He likes it.
According to the fan wiki, this movie adapts several arcs from the comics. This fight scene is from the story What Goes Around Comes Around, although the comic puts Leonardo in that situation instead of Raphael. This includes the part where said turtle is flung through the skyline of the building they're in after getting the crap beaten out of them. Now that's brutal, but not as brutal as the terrifying weapon of the ages, the nunchucks.
Oh! A fellow chucker, eh?
Because yes, in the UK version of this movie, as well as the show, nunchucks were considered beyond the pale for TV. Even with censorship laws relaxing nowadays, I still find that funny. Now that's okay for kids, but showing one particular ninja weapon is bad. Anyway, I just want to say, the fights in this movie are pretty fun. Thankfully, the only thing funny about the scenes are the one-liners and the music tracks, but at least they aren't doing obnoxious sound effects like in The Next Mutation. Reinforcements arrive and it looks like the turtles are in trouble. But then the turtles get aid from Casey Jones because even he knows who the real threat is. Unfortunately, one of the foot soldiers accidentally hits an electrical wire, which will probably kill him now, which spreads fire throughout the building. Casey stays behind to hold them off, and he overhears April's messaging machine go off.
April, it's Charles. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say this. You're fired, April. I'm sorry. I know this comes as a blow.
She got fired for real, and she got fire in her home. Also, considering some of the foot soldiers were knocked out in this place, I'm pretty sure some of them died. I hope you're happy, Danny. Meanwhile, Shredder tortures Splinter to get info on the turtles, but he gets nothing. Danny himself meets Splinter, and the old master helps him with his family problems.
And have you no one to go to, Danny? No parent?
My dad could care less about me.
I doubt that is true.
Why?
All fathers care for their sons.
Well, I think it should be more along the lines of fathers should care for their sons, but his point still stands. In another scene taken from the comics, our heroes are hiding out at April's old farmhouse to recover from their defeat. April learns about being fired, which upsets her, but here's Casey to try and cheer her up. I sense a ship passing through.
Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Just f*** already.
Anyway, this whole sequence is based on issue 11, True Stories, where April writes about the downtime. It even has the bathroom scene, although the movie has Raphael in the tub instead of Leo. Even in a downer moment, it's a minor victory that he came out okay. After all, the brothers had a fight before this happened, so of course there's some lingering guilt. Raphael wakes up from his coma, Leonardo apologizes to him, and they make up. Also,
It's a Kodak moment.
talk about a real blink or you'll miss it moment. That's freaking creepy. While the turtles have mostly recovered and united, they're still missing Splinter. Leonardo tries meditating, which seems to connect him with Splinter for a moment, so he gets the others to join in so they can talk with him.
I am proud of you, my sons. Tonight, you have learned the final and greatest truth of the ninja. That ultimate mastery comes not of the body, but of the mind. Together, there is nothing your four minds cannot accomplish. Help each other, draw upon one another, and always remember the true force that binds you. I love you all, my sons.
The animatronics are especially expressive when it comes to showing sorrow. For all they know, this might actually be the last time they even hear from him. And all he wants from them is to continue being supportive of each other, because that's how they'll grow. Anyway, they're ready to return to New York. Danny is spying on them, but it seems like he's taken an interest in our heroes after hanging around Splinter. He then goes back to Splinter to talk with him some more, and it's here where we learn about the fate of Master Yoshi. He once worked alongside someone named Orokusaki, at least until they started chasing after the same woman. When she picked Yoshi, Oroku killed them both.
I leapt to Saki's face, biting and clawing, but he threw me to the floor and took one swipe with his katana, slicing my ear.
It's made apparent that Shredder is Orokusaki because of the symbol he wears. Anyway, the big bad plans to execute Splinter after learning that the turtles are still alive. Casey finds this out through Danny, and this leads to a showdown against Tatsu. He's more than a match for our vigilante, so it's time to bring out the ultimate weapon.
I brought a golf club!
I'll never call golf a dull game again.
And thanks to Splinter, he convinces the rest of the teens that working for Shredder is wrong, so they won't be a problem in the final battle. Elsewhere, the Foot Clan tries invading the sewers, only to be ambushed by the turtles. This leads to a lengthy battle that's at least entertaining, and after getting to the rooftops, leads to an encounter with the final boss. Not only does he look and sound cool, but he actually manages to be a real threat by overpowering all 4 of our heroes. There's no way they can mess this up, right? While it looks like Shredder is about to kill Leonardo, he gets rescued by Splinter, who now knows who he really is. These two are now ready to settle this once and for all. That's it. That's all we get from these two. Maybe there was a point to be had, since Splinter offers to spare Shredder, but the latter obviously says no, tries to attack, and gets dropped down anyway. I guess the movie makers wanted to wrap things up, though I do like this bit at least.
Oops!
Well, someone just committed murder. Or it would have been, if not for the next movie. The Turtles reunite with their master, the police show up to arrest the foot soldiers and question the teens. Charles also shows up and finds Danny.
I've had the whole city looking for you. Are you all right? Are you okay, Danny?
It's okay, Dad. I'm okay. Really. I'm okay. Dad, it's just Dan now, okay?
Dan?
I guess they gotta start somewhere. April gets her job back, plus a raise, and she and Casey get together. The Turtles then try to come up with something cool for what they did.
I have always liked Cowabunga. I made a funny.
So yeah, between this and his Pinocchio movie, TMNT was a far better film for Steve Barron. Sure, some elements either feel half-finished or unfulfilled, like some of the stuff between Danny and Charles, but the creators clearly did their homework and they blended the comic book and cartoon elements rather well. Our main characters were spot on, while April and Casey were highly enjoyable side characters. Splinter also served as a strong emotional core for his students and the teens, and Shredder was awesome, at least up until his final moment. The cinematography was also really good. Great use of lighting in dark places to show what's really necessary while moments play out. And the comedic writing offsets some of the washed out sections of the movie. I'm not sure whether this was the quality of the available film or an intentional choice to emulate the comic's visuals, but regardless, it works well. Critics weren't exactly fond of the movie, but the fans came out in force. This movie generated $202 million from its $13.5 million budget, and that was a sign of its popularity. It was only a matter of time before more movies were made, but that's a story for another day. For now, just know that the first movie is definitely worth watching. It's a damn good adaptation to the TMNT media of the 80s and 90s. Next time, we wrap up the Patreon board with another old anime movie. I'll see you then.
What the heck was that?
Looked like sort of a big turtle in a trench coat. You're gonna look wild, you right?